What's up, everybody? Thanks for clicking this video. Thanks for tuning into my channel. If you're new here, I'll introduce myself. My name's Simon Hill, Black American from Louisiana, out here in Budapest, Hungary, recording this video for y'all right now. The time is about 5:02 p.m. where I'm at, and I got class in about 1 hour. So we going to blow through this live stream very quick, but this is our daily live stream where we chop it up about a topic in particular. Very interested to hear what y'all have to say. I've been having issues with my live stream for the past couple of days, but I'm working out the kinks in the background. I have the chat right here. The chat is on my phone, so any comments that come in, I'm going to read them and reply to them right now. So Greg Mack just hopped in. He said, "What up, Simon? What's good?" Shout out to you, Greg Mack. I've been slacking for the past few days, but I'm out here rocking with y'all heavy. Hope you good wherever you are, man. So let's get into it. Y'all know that I don't really watch sports like that. Sometimes I'll watch a game here and there. I grew up playing football and basketball and all that like a good, normal American child. But soccer is definitely not something that I'm into. But I find this story very interesting, and I'd be interested to hear from anybody who does watch soccer or play soccer to know what they think about this story. So we're going to get into it. Vinicius Júnior says racism is normal in Spanish soccer. After Valencia fans called the Real Madrid star a monkey, Spain's top soccer official called racial abuse a stain on the entire country. So this is Real Madrid's Vinicius Jr. pointing at a group of Valencia fans who he said called him a monkey. And I believe him. It's very normal in Europe for racial slurs against black people, people that didn't do anything bad to Europe at all, anything bad to Europeans at all. We only enlightened Europeans when we came as the Moors. We only enlightened Europeans and helped them when we came to be philosophers and musicians and brought them rock and roll and jazz. We've only done good things for Europeans, but yet and still, they call us racial slurs like monkey and the N-word and other things like that. It's absolutely not cool. So this story was written by Tariq Panja, published on May 22nd, 2023 for the New York Times. Vinicius Jr. has had enough. The Real Madrid forward, a magnet for racist chants from the stands in Spanish stadiums for the past 2 seasons, took to social media after the latest attack against him on Sunday when he was called a monkey by fans in Valencia. This time, he took aim not only at his abusers, but also at Spain itself. It wasn't the first time, nor the second, nor the third, Vinicius Jr. wrote in a post on his Twitter and Instagram accounts. Racism is normal in La Liga. The competition thinks it's normal. The federation does too, and the opponents encourage it. Spain, he said, was becoming known in his native Brazil as a country of racists, which is not surprising. I mean, Spain is the country that literally invented transatlantic slavery. They were some of the very first to capture our people and bring them to the New World. They pillaged and destroyed South America and Central America. So yeah, I'm not surprised that some Spanish people are white supremacists or anti-black racists. Europe itself is the home of white supremacy and anti-black racism. But I want to make this clear. A lot of people in my comment section, a lot of Europeans love to jump in my comment section and say, "Oh, my country can't be racist," or "Europeans are not racist," because number one, that's an American problem, which is a stupid way of looking at it. Because me as a black person, if I'm telling you I'm going through racism, that should be enough. You don't know what it's like to be black, so you need to shut the front door and listen to what I have to say. You don't know anything about what it's like to experience anti-black racism because you yourself are not black. And a lot of people say, "Oh, my country can't be racist because we don't have a lot of black people." Spain might have a lot of black people now. Recently, there's been a lot of immigration there in the past few years. But in general, Spain is a pretty homogenous white country, pretty damn white country. Any place where there are black people, automatically anti-black racism will appear. So yes, when I walk through Albania, Serbia, Turkey, and here in Hungary as well, I will experience anti-black racism. It doesn't matter what country you are. There is no country on the planet that does not have anti-black racism. I'm going to continue here. So on Sunday, Vinicius Jr. was met by fans chanting the word mono, monkey, before he was stepped off the Real Madrid bus outside the Mestalla Stadium in Valencia. The match was briefly halted in the 71st minute as he pointed out some of his abusers to the referee, and an anti-racism statement, part of a league protocol for such incidents, was read to the crowd over the stadium loudspeakers. By the end, though, it was Vinicius Jr. who was cast as the villain. He received a red card in the dying minutes of injury time after scuffling with an opponent who had charged at him. See, this is the thing. white supremacists and racists say, black people, you just need to suck it up and get over it. Everybody gets called names. Everybody gets hurled insults sometime. But the difference is your insults don't have a tie, a legacy to your humanity being taken away. Calling us monkey, calling us other types of slurs, it harkens back to a time when we were seen as less than human. And still to this day, there are a vast amount of people, some of these people in this crowd, like in this soccer stadium, who view this handsome black man as less than human. He is meant to be called a monkey. I can call a white person a crack ass cracker or a mayonnaise man or a Yakubian all day. It doesn't have the same effect as if you're a black person being told that you're a monkey or that you're less than human and that sort of stuff. Because these are very real things that we're still dealing with now. Nobody would get upset about being called monkey or any sort of racial slur if black people had an equal chance in our societies, if we weren't viewed as other, if we weren't treated so badly. So I feel for this brother, and it's a shame that he was viewed as the villain just for pointing out racism that was happening to him when the referee should have been on his side. The stadium should have been ashamed of themselves. All the spectators should have been beating up the people or harassing the people who were racially harassing this young black man. I'm not encouraging violence. I'll take that back. They shouldn't have beat them up, but I'm just going to say that, usually in soccer stadiums, people that talk a lot of slick stuff get dealt with. Usually at a football match or a game, whatever game you're watching, whoever's talking the most slick stuff, usually they got to back up what they say. And so people should have been checking those people who are calling this black man all these sorts of racial slurs. But I'll continue. The referee Ricardo de Burgos, Benje, I can't pronounce that. The referee Ricardo trying to calm Vinicius Jr. as he protested that he was being racially abused. See, this is another thing the white supremacists do. They know that their racial abuse is absolutely wrong, so they try to trick us off the streets. They try to get us to do bad stuff like overreact or get emotional. And that's why I've said in my previous videos, when we're met with racial slurs, we just sometimes have to ignore it and brush it off our shoulders because those are people literally trying to antagonize us. Let's continue. Real Madrid said it believed the abuse directed at its player qualified as a hate crime under Spanish law, and the club said it had filed a complaint with the relevant authorities demanding an investigation. We have a serious problem, the president of Spain's Soccer Federation acknowledged Monday, calling racism in the nation's stadiums an issue that stains an entire team, an entire fan base, and an entire country. Bouts of racial abuse echoing through the stands in Spanish soccer stadiums are not uncommon or new, but they have become particularly pointed towards Vinícius Júnior, who has emerged as one of the league's marquee players since the departure of Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. See, I never heard stories about Messi getting insulted. And if they did, I'm sure they weren't racial abuse. Nobody was calling him little mayonnaise boy or little paper man, or Ronaldo wasn't getting those abuses as well. And I think those guys have had some sketchy past, but I haven't heard anything bad about this young man, Vinicius Jr., right? So he's a rising soccer player. He's achieving black excellence. He's doing everything the white supremacists say that they want black men to do. Work hard, don't get in trouble, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, and you can succeed in this world. Yet and still, what is he met with? Despite all of his financial success, despite all of his athletic success and achievements, he still gets met with monkey, N-words, getting told that he's less than human, can't even do his job with dignity. This is the scourge. This is the curse that is anti-black racism. This is the curse of white supremacy that still haunts us today, where people think that just because a black man is out existing in the world and thriving, that you have to tear him down. That's what the people in the stadium are thinking. I can never be as successful or as beautiful or as triumphant as Vinicius Jr., so I have to tear them down with my little Spanish penis and my hairy chest and my stinky, smelly underarms. I got to tear down this amazing black man. That's how the white supremacists think. I'm going to continue here. In a statement announcing an investigation into the events on Sunday in Valencia, La Liga acknowledged it had reported 9 separate incidents of racist abuse against Vinicius Jr. in the past 2 seasons alone. By then, the player had taken to social media where he wrote that the attacks on him were tarnishing Spain's image around the world. A beautiful nation which welcomed me and which I love, but which agreed to export the image of a racist country to the world, he wrote. I'm sorry for the Spaniards who don't agree, but today in Brazil, Spain is known as a country of racists. Okay. All right, so I just got to say this. Uh, Listen, you can't be saying back in my home country of Brazil, we know Spain is racist, but we have to also acknowledge that Brazil is hella racist too. 50% of the people in Brazil are black, black like me. I'm talking blue black, boy. They blackety black. You get what I'm saying? Half of Brazil is blackety black. And yet and still, when we look at their Congress, when we look at their CEOs, when we look at the richest people in Brazil, boy, it's lily white. Brazil is one of the most racist nations in the world, most white supremacist nations in the world. I haven't even been there yet, but I know anti-blackness is there. Heavy, heavy. I'm gonna get into the comments real quick. Greg Mack, now they normally travel in packs, the hooligans, and a lot of the police let them get away with it. Interesting. He's talking about yeah, see, that's the thing. The people of a certain section and a certain demographic have the protection from the collection. You get what I'm saying? Like they're protected by the police who allow them to do racist stuff. But if they were to end up talking about the small hats or the untouchables, or if they were start to saying anti-Arab chants or anti-Muslim chants, oh, that will be shut down real quick. That's not PC. But calling black people monkeys, allowing black people to be disrespected, oh, that's okay. That's okay in sports. That's okay in European sports. And then the same Spaniards will tell you Spain is not a racist nation. Oh, it's so embarrassing. I'm going to continue here. He even suggested a failure to act against racism could drive him from the country. The reaction to what occurred at the Mestalla brought new scrutiny on Spanish soccer's handling of racism inside stadiums. In a television interview immediately after the match, Real Madrid's coach Carlo Ancelotti reacted incredulously when he was asked to talk about the game. I don't want to talk about football, he said. I want to talk about what happened here. So I'm not going to play the video because of copyright strike, but let's read. In a news conference that followed, local journalists tried to correct Ancelotti's assessment that the entire stadium was responsible, telling him he had misheard the chanting. I hate when the white supremacists do that. No, we didn't call you monkey or the N word or any other racial slur that you clearly heard and you can clearly identify because you have ears. No, you're too stupid, black man, and you're too stupid, a white ally who was who was supporting this black man in the fight against racism. No, you're too stupid. You didn't hear mono. You didn't hear monkey. We weren't calling you monkey, black man. We were calling you funky. As if they think we're that stupid. I hate when the white supremacists do that. And that's a typical trick that they do. They say, we didn't call you the N word. We meant to say trigger. We meant to say bigger. Or then when you catch them actually saying it in audio, what do they say? Oh, we don't know what it means. We don't know what the word monkey means. Or monkey is not meant to be offensive. I even call my own children monkey. Like, who says that? These are the stupid talking points the white supremacists say to hide behind their anti-black racism. Vinícius Júnior is a great black man who's just trying to live his life, achieve his dreams of being a football star. Yet and still, he goes to work, and what happens? What happens? He has to be called slurs. He has to be called slurs because we live in a white supremacist world that is explicitly anti-black. No black man, no, despite what they achieve or succeed, can never, ever fully exist in this world peacefully. It's impossible. It's impossible. Our dignity is constantly under attack. I'm going to continue here. So, in a news conference that followed, local journalists tried to correct Ancelotti's assessment that the entire stadium was responsible, telling him he had misheard the chanting. Then officials from Valencia issued denials of widespread racism in the stands, despite videos online appearing to show large sections of the crowd chanting mono. Some reporters suggested to Ancelotti that a majority of supporters had actually been chanting tonto, a word that means silly in Spanish. Whether it was mono or tonto, the referee stopped the game to open the racism protocol. Ancelotti replied he wouldn't do that if they just chanted tonto. Speak to the referee. Exactly. I hate when the white supremacists do that. It's so annoying. It's so frustrating. We clearly hear them say the N word. We clearly hear them say racial slurs. Yet and still they hide behind plausible deniability, obfuscating the facts because they are too pussy. The white supremacists are absolutely too pussy to just admit that they did something and that's what they stand on. That's why I don't respect them. That's why I don't respect them the most. I'm going to continue here. Within hours, La Liga's chief executive Javier Tebas was engaged in a back and forth exchange with Vinicius Jr. on Twitter. In it, Tebas defended Spain, detailed the efforts the league had made to tackle racist behavior, and scolded Vinicius for what Tebas said was a failure to show up to two meetings to discuss the abuse he had received. Tebas' statement led to a furious response from the player. Once again, instead of criticizing racists, the president of La Liga appears on social media to attack me, Vinicius wrote. As much of you talk and pretend not to read, the image of your championship has been hit by this. See the responses to your posts, and you will make a surprise. Omitting yourself only makes you equal to racists. Absolutely flawless, beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, Vinicius, for standing up for yourself. And it's so frustrating when a black man speaks about racism and then people attack him for even pointing out racism as if racism doesn't exist. So what does Tebas believe? Does Tebas believe that it's impossible for a very white audience in Spain to see a black man succeeding on the football pitch and them not yell racial slurs? Does he think that's impossible? Even with video evidence, does he think that's impossible? Does he think Vinicius Jr. is making it up when he's telling this story? That's what's so hard to comprehend by what the chief executive of La Liga, and I don't even know what La Liga is, but it's probably a very important post in the world of football, whatever. Either way, what does he think? Does that it's making it up? And what's the point of attacking him, Vinicius Jr., for pointing out racism in Spain? Shouldn't you rather be defending your players who actually make you money, who actually are the people come to see, who actually are the people who will win you games? You would rather defend the racists who are insulting your top employee or top soccer player or the person who makes this game interesting. You would rather defend the people who insult them rather than stand up for your player, which goes to show white supremacy is not even it's not even about gaining more money or power. Because if it was the team owner, La Liga's president, whatever, we should be defending the player. White supremacy is simply about putting black people down just for their own shits and giggles, just even if they shoot themselves in the foot, even if the white supremacists burn the entire world down, even if they don't make a single dollar, they would still think it's okay. They would still think it's okay that at least a bunch of white men in a football stadium got to yell monkey at a black player. They think that's more important than actually making millions or billions of dollars off of the black players. They would rather piss off this black man, have him go back to Brazil and play for another team and have them win championships than actually stand up for your players and make them feel respected. Absolutely embarrassing. So the incident drew criticism and messages of support from around the world. Speaking at a news conference at the close of a G7 summit in Japan, Brazil's President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva said he wanted to send a message of solidarity to Vinicius, saying it was unjust that he gets insulted at every stadium where he plays. It's not possible in the middle of the 21st century to have such strong racial prejudice in so many football stadiums. All right, Lula, I love you. I actually like Lula da Silva, but come on. I hate when white people say, come on, guys, it's 2023. Come on, guys, it's 2024. Come on, guys, it's 2025. Why do we still have people yelling racial slurs at black people? How about this? It's because your community doesn't check your community. You think it's okay for your father to be yelling N-word at the dinner table, or for your friends to be joking about the size of a black man's genitalia, or you're hanging out with your girlfriends and y'all think it's okay to say, we're going to date some guys here. We want to dance with some guys, but we're not dancing with no black dudes or something like that. Or we don't date black men or shit like that. Or you think it's okay. Your community constantly allows anti-black racism to fester within it. So, the president of Brazil, yes, it is absolutely possible that racism will continue into the 21st century because y'all, the whites and the off-whites, don't care that people in your community are explicitly anti-black. If black people had a bunch of people around us who were talking about we hate Jews or we hate the Arabs or we hate white people, they will be excommunicated. They will be excommunicated. There is not a single black organization that talks about they hate another group of people and that is implicit to their foundation or their ideology. Not a single one, not a single black organization talks about hating other groups. But white people will sit down and have dinner or have in their family people who are a part of the Ku Klux Klan or the Proud Boys or neo-Nazis or Republicans. Yes, Republicans. Just straight up conservative Republicans. They sit down and have dinner with these people. They laugh while their friends say the N-word joke, say jokes with N-words in them. They laugh when people call us racial slurs behind our backs. That's what they do in their community behind closed doors. And so, yes, Lula da Silva, all white people around the world. There will be racism in 2023 and 2024 until y'all community, until y'all check yourselves. Until then, we gonna be outside checking y'all and smacking y'all around too. Not physically, just verbally. I'm gonna slap y'all around verbally. I'm a peaceful man. So Ozzy jumped into the chat. He said, salute, Simon. Salute to you too. So I'm going to go here. Current and former players also rallied around Vinícius, taking aim at the authorities in Spain for not doing more to stamp out racism, which some commentators in the country have routinely described as merely an effort to gain an advantage on the field. Kylian Mbappe, who also moved to Spain last season to join Vinícius in Madrid, posted a message of support on Instagram. He was joined by Neymar, a Brazilian star who also faced racial abuse when he played in Spain for Barcelona. Is Neymar black? Is Neymar black? I don't watch football, guys. I don't care about football, honestly. I only care about defending black men, fighting anti-black racism, standing up to white supremacy. But is Neymar black? He looks white to me. I don't know. Somebody inform me if you watch football. I'm going to continue here. So, La Liga issued a statement detailing what it said were efforts to stamp out racism in its stadiums. The league said it was working with the authorities in Valencia to investigate what took place, and it vowed to take legal action if any hate crime was identified. Still, it is limited in the types of penalties it can levy against clubs. Stadium closures, for example, can be sanctioned only by the National Soccer Federation. The latest incident will mean new scrutiny on the federation and Spanish soccer at a time it is looking for global support to secure the hosting rights to the 2030 World Cup as part of a joint effort with Portugal and Morocco. We have a problem of behavior, of education, of racism, the Spanish Soccer Federation President Luis Rubiales told a news conference Monday. And as long as there is one fan or one group of fans making insults based on someone's sexual orientation or skin color or belief, then we have a serious problem. So Tariq Panja covers darker stories in the global sports industry. So Ozzy says Neymar is kind of black. Brazil has a lot of mixed people. I think he straightens his hair to look less black. That's funny. That's funny. Listen, if Neymar faced racial abuse, I'm still gonna stand up for him. Nobody should have to face racial abuse, if even if they're white or black. I know some people here might think, oh, Simon is an anti-white racist. No, I'm not. I love white people. I can't hate white people, guys. My wife is white. I love saying that. I'll say that every single time. Anyway, yeah, this story here about Vinícius Jr. is not uncommon. We've heard stories about black footballers, black football players getting bananas hurled at them, racial slurs hurled at them, all sorts of stuff like that. It's not cool at all. And I think this absolutely needs to stop. But black players really need to consider playing for the African League. Yeah, I said it. The African League is popping right now. When I was living in Tunisia, they were going crazy over the African League. And this is the one time, sort of, when all of Africa comes together. All of Africa is at least united on football, though I think the South Africans play cricket and stuff like that. But generally, oh, also in Mauritius, they play like a lot of French games, like French bowling games and stuff like that. But yeah, all of Africa can unite around football. So I think a lot of black players should consider joining the African teams and the African leagues. Maybe take that pay cut to help the league build up. Because what are we getting respect when we go to Europe? Are we getting respect when we go there? No. Now, I understand black men wanting to chase the money, chase the fame, chase the opportunity. You know, Real Madrid is offering a $500 million contract. Meanwhile, Nigeria is going to give you a house and a tuk-tuk ride back and forth to the stadium. Okay, all right, I can understand. But what I'm saying is maybe we should consider going where we are appreciated and also continuing to speak out against this anti-black racism in football. I'm going to jump into the comments. Craig Mack says it will never change. Too much bread involved in the sport. A lot of the good players have been leaving the European League for the bag in the UAE. Yeah, that's another thing. We need to possibly look at playing for other leagues, other teams. If the Europeans are so insistent on just disrespecting black people, even at their own detriment, okay, let them be poor and white and ignorant. We don't have to make them millions of dollars. Let's go somewhere else. So Ozzy says, I think Italy is even worse than Spain. Possibly. I've heard about stories of black players in Italy, and that's where the bananas were hurled at them, and the whole crowd was chanting at them, monkey and other racial slurs that are very offensive. Ozzy said, also notice how there are no soccer referees in Europe. There are no black soccer referees. I think that's what he means. And yet Europe claims to have less racism than the States. Yeah, at least in the U.S., when we watch a basketball game, at least some of the referees in football or basketball or baseball. Well, I haven't seen a black umpire. I've never seen a black umpire. Has anybody ever seen a black umpire at a baseball game? I've never seen a black umpire at a baseball game. Maybe I seen a Dominican. Maybe I seen a Dominican umpire, que lo que, papi, but I didn't see any black umpires in baseball. Anyway, one more story about the racism in football. We're gonna read this right here. This is from Africa News. Okay. All right. Ozzy says, yes, there are quite a few black MLB umpires. Okay. I've never seen them. I love playing baseball, but I hate watching baseball. Watching baseball is hella boring, but I love playing that. That's actually my favorite game, honestly. And I wish I played more when I was a kid. Maybe I should have joined the high school baseball team. I should have. I should have. Baseball is hella fun, man. Going up to bat, going out to right field, outfield, running to first. Yeah, doing the slide. Yeah, yeah, I love that shit. I love baseball, man. Anyway, uh, one more. One more article about the racism in football before we get out of here because I got class pretty soon. Endemic racism plagues football. This is from africanews.com. It was last updated on 6/6. I think that's June 6th. Hanging from the highway bridge in Madrid. I'm going to make this bigger for y'all. Hold on, wait, let's go. All right. Hanging from a highway bridge in Madrid, an effigy of one of the world's most famous black soccer players stands as a graphic reminder of the racism that sweeps through European soccer. Wow. See, they got a black man hanging in effigy. They got, man, that means they lynched that black man, just like an image of him. They created something to lynch him. That's sick. That's sick. Like, who even thinks of this? The white supremacists are literally sick. They literally think of new ways just to make themselves feel better because of the insecurities that they have. That's just little dick energy. Too much little dick energy is running around Europe. What type of men have enough time to go and sit together, stitch together a doll, go to the local bridge over the overpass of the highway and hang it? And just because a black man is over here, succeeding and thriving. You get what I'm saying? So I'm going to continue here. In truth, they are everywhere. In Italy, where monkey chants swirled around the stadium in April as a black player celebrated a goal. In England, where a banana peel thrown from a hostile crowd during a game in North London landed at the feet of a black player after he scored a penalty. In France, where black players from the men's national team were targeted with horrific racial abuse online after they lost in last year's World Cup final. Wow. All of this all over Europe. See, I hate when people say, oh, France is less racist than Italy or Italy's more racist than Spain. Listen, man, it's all the same. Anywhere black men exist, anywhere black people just live, there will be anti-black racism. And unfortunately, it's the most pernicious, malicious, evil form of racism that exists on this planet, because they are destroying people that literally want to help them. They are talking about players who are making millions of dollars for their cities, for their countries, for their leagues, whatever. Yet and still, they find time to disrespect them. Doesn't matter if it's the opposing team. Doesn't matter if it's another team. It's still a part of the economy, and you should be there just to enjoy the game, not to harass people. So here's a little reminder. This is a quote from Chris Wright. Luis Suarez given an 8-match ban plus a fine for racism. Rio Fernando referring to Ashley Cole as a chalk ice, and only recently a banana skin thrown by Spurs fans at Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. A problem in English football, not just Chelsea. Very interesting. I didn't understand most of that, though, because I don't follow football. But I'm going to go here. Ozzy says, those men have a lot of time. Spain, Italy, Greece have high unemployment rates. That's funny, Ozzy. That's funny as hell. He said they so broke that they just got time to stitch together little dolls of black men and hang them in effigy. High unemployment rates. See, that's the thing. I said this in my video the other day. on the video of the Opelousas massacre. Whenever there's poor white people, economic change, and even black men just being around, oh, they have time to just be super hella racist. Let's go continue here. So go outside Europe and you'll find them too. In Australia, where they have monkey noises and fascist libertadores. Libertadores. My Spanish is bad. The Copa Libertadores have been blighted by monkey chants. In North Africa, where black players from visiting teams from sub-Saharan Africa have complained of being targets of racist chants by Arab fans. See, it just follows us all around the world, absolutely everywhere. Now, I wanted to say this because I don't want to paint all football fans with a broad brush, because I know that there are different types of soccer clubs, and I know in Europe that some soccer clubs attract fascist fans, and then there are other soccer clubs that attract like leftists, anti-racist, communist, socialists, and stuff like that. So I know that in some places, football teams can have different sorts of fan bases. On one hand, you have nationalists who support whatever team, and then on the other hand, in that same city or in that same country, you might have all the socialists and the leftists supporting another team. And so, yeah, it might be more likely that the right leaning teams attract the fans who are going to be yelling racial slurs at black people. I can admit that. I can acknowledge that. You get what I'm saying? But I would still say this, even if it's only a select few teams, it's still way too many people for this to be happening all across the world. While and for it to continue to perpetuate, for it to continue to happen, because this happens in every single continent. Anywhere black men have just been playing the game of football, going out traveling, doing what they're supposed to do, what happens? Monkey chants in Australia, monkey chants in South America, racist slurs from the Arabs in North Africa. I mean, it's insane. If this were white people going everywhere getting harassed and insulted for their color, it would not be cool too. But it doesn't happen. Why does it happen to us? You tell me. We didn't bother the world. We didn't colonialize the world. We didn't rape a million women to create new countries like the Dominican Republic or Brazil. We didn't terrorize entire nations and burn whole civilizations to the ground. We didn't do any of that. Yet and still, when we kick a football and make $1 million, we have to hear an entire stadium of people saying, "Go home, monkey." Is that cool? No. So Ozzy says, yes, Germany has a famous left-wing soccer team. Okay, but where are the left-wing soccer teams when there's a bunch of racists in the stands yelling, racial slurs at black people? This is what I'm saying, man. This is why I made the Opelousas massacre video. A lot of leftists just like to talk. A lot of the quote white anti-racists just like to talk. They never want to put them dukes up. They never want to put their money where their mouth is. They never want to go to war to actually fight to end anti-black racism. That's why I've said before, we have no friends. We have no friends, honestly, because there might be a million leftist football clubs, but they're definitely not doing their job because they're not socking it to the people who are yelling monkey from the stands. You get what I'm saying? I'm going to continue here. The manifestation of a deeper societal problem, racism is a decades-old issue in soccer, predominantly in Europe, but seen all around the world, that has been amplified by the reach of social media and a growing willingness for people to call it out. And to think that it was only 11 years ago that Sepp Blatter, the president of soccer governing body FIFA at the time, denied there was any racism in the game, saying any abuse should be resolved with a handshake. The black player currently subjected to the most vicious, relentless, and high-profile racist insults is Vinícius Júnior, a 22-year-old Brazilian who plays for Real Madrid, the most successful soccer team in Europe. It was around the neck of an effigy of Vinícius that a rope was tied, and the figure hung from an overpass near Madrid's training ground in the Spanish capital in January. It was Vinícius who, 2 weeks ago, in perhaps a defining incident for the Spanish game, was reduced to tears on the field during a match after confronting a man who called him a monkey and made monkey gestures toward him. Absolutely horrible. They're breaking this man. Absolutely horrible that this young man has to go through that when he's just trying to live his life and chase his dreams. But we never let him see him sweat. We never let him see him cry. But I understand being human, and yeah, man, I could only imagine being in his shoes. It's hard. It's hard for me to even do my YouTube when I have to open up the comments and I got 20, 30 crazy white people calling me all sorts of racial slurs and threatening me and all sorts of stuff. But yet and still, I show my face every day. Now, where they at? I'm going to continue here. It's Vinícius who is emerging as the leading black voice in the fight against racism, which continues to stain the world's most popular sport. I have a purpose in life, he said on Twitter, and if I have to keep suffering so that future generations won't have to go through these types of situations, I'm ready and prepared. Vinicius's biggest concern is that Spanish soccer authorities are doing little to stop the abuse, leading to racism being an accepted part of soccer in a country where he has played since he was 18. Instead, federations around the world have been too slow, in some cases, apparently unwilling to equip themselves with the powers to sanction teams for the racist behavior of their fans, despite being given the authority by FIFA to do so since 2013. Fines? Sure. Partial stadium closures? Okay. But more stringent punishments like point deductions or expulsions from competitions, they are typically reserved for matters such as financial mismanagement, not racial abuse of players. The result is frustration and a sense of helplessness among black players and those wanting to protect them. Asked what he expects to happen after the Vinícius incident, Real Madrid coach Carlo Ancelotti said, condemning is not enough. Nobody has done anything in a way that makes this problem go away. When racism was rife in English soccer and hooliganism was on the rise, black players were only just beginning to integrate into some of the league's biggest teams. Liverpool, arguably the most famous soccer club in the world at the time, fielded its first black player in 1980. Chelsea followed 2 years later by bringing Paul Canoville. So 40 years ago today, from the day that this tweet was posted, Paul Canoville became the first black player to represent the Blues. So shout out to this brother, pioneering brother out there on the field doing his thing, representing, right? I always support our black athletes who are out there trying to achieve black excellence. I know it might seem like in my live streams and in my commentary that I don't want black people to go into sports because we can be more than that. And I feel like a lot of us get pushed into that. When I was a kid growing up in Louisiana, I was big for my age. When I was about 11 or 12, I was a bigger kid. So when I was in, like, how can I say this? Seventh or eighth grade, right? Seventh or eighth grade, ninth grade, like middle school, high school area time. They tried to push me to play football, right? I went out there to play football, put on my pads, put on the helmet, put on the knee pads, put on the jock strap, all of that. Went out there on the field, and this big ass kid put his shoulder up in me, laid me down. I said, "Oh no, no, I can't do this. No, it's not for me." I wasn't feeling football. Football was just not for me. But they kept pushing me to do it because I was the biggest kid in my class at a certain age. Now, the years after that, kids got much bigger, kids got much taller, much stronger, much faster than me. So I luckily I didn't get put down that path because nobody I know went to the league. Nobody I know even played D1. You get what I'm saying? So I might have been just wasting my time like a lot of other people. But what I'm saying is this. What I'm saying is this: a lot of black players in the league right now or other places are doing great work. They're taking care of their families. They're becoming successful. They're becoming entrepreneurs. Some people are blowing it on hose and ice and whips and chains and that sort of stuff. But a lot of players are stacking up their bread and doing great things with it, which is what you should do. You know what I mean? Anyway, black men can achieve success in this world. I'm all for it. I just don't want our next generation or our children to think that's all we can be. Like all we can be are ballers and rappers. I'm gonna jump into the comments real quick. I don't know. Yep, no other comments. So here, let's go. Chelsea player was regularly called the N-word, often told to go home, and had bananas thrown at him. There was no safety net for Cannaville or other black players being racially abused. A problem epitomized by a heart-wrenching photo of Liverpool great John Barnes kicking a banana off the field with his heel in 1988. Wow, that's a powerful picture. So 5,000 people behind the goal singing black this, black that. That's difficult to play in front of, said Mark Bright, who played for several English clubs in the 1980s and 90s and is now an ambassador and talent scout for one of his former teams. Black guy scored a goal and they didn't like him and monkey chants come out. That has to be very hard. It's hard to be a black player in this world. It's hard to hold your head up high as a black man with dignity in this world. And these guys who are our ancestors who pioneered a way for us to be footballers in any country or any space, they are heroes, absolutely, because you got to be brave. And that's what I try to be on this channel. I try to be brave when standing up against anti-black racism. So The TV companies failed us. The radio failed us. The Professional Footballers Association failed us. Bright, now 60, told the AP they didn't make a stand against it. Anti racism campaigns and slogans are welcomed, but increasingly viewed as tokenism, especially when fines handed to clubs or federations for racial abuse committed by fans often are so pitiful. Take the juxtaposition. In 2012, of European governing body UEFA handing the Spanish Soccer Federation a $25,000 fine for fans directing racial abuse at a black player for Italy during the European Championship, with around the same time a Denmark player getting fined 5 times that amount for revealing underpants with the name of a bookmarker on it. Okay, yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. So you get a bigger fine for just showing your underwear, running around a bit naked, than if you insult a black player, right? 5 times times 25, that's what, 200 something thousand. So let's go here into the comments. When's the last time you heard about racist chants towards black athletes in the States or Canada? Yeah, that's absolutely true, because in the US, we get down. Like, I can't imagine. No, you know what? I think in certain places and spaces, because we hear about stories of young black boys like in high school and stuff, and they're playing like in somewhere Kentucky or Oklahoma, and they're part of that one black family in this small town. So yeah, that those chants might get crazy. So I do think it is possible in certain places in the U.S. for the white supremacists and latent racists to get away with hurling insults at us in the crowd, but I think the majority of the time we'll get down. Like if we hear racist chants in the I don't know, Dallas Cowboys Stadium or in the Superdome or something like that, oh, we gonna get down. We gonna ain't no monkey chants going down. Ain't no N words being hurled. That ain't happening. At least in as far as I know. Craig Mack says, when I would take the train in Poland, they would have police officers in riot gear and about 50 hooligans that shut down the train station and were able to break all the rules on the train. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy that sports fans of a certain complexion can get away with this. And I'm pretty sure if those were a bunch of Arab young men, or if they were a bunch of black and brown young men in Europe acting like that on the train, oh no, it wouldn't have happened like that. Crazy. Experts believe the global outrage, widespread reaction, and outpouring of support for Vinicius following his latest abuse could make a turning point in the fight against racism in Spain. It certainly struck a chord in Brazil, where there were protests outside the Spanish consulate in Sao Paulo. While the Spanish League is now seeking to increase its authority to issue sanctions, its protocol up to now has been to detect and denounce incidents and pass evidence to courts where cases are typically shelved. Jaco van Sterkenberg, a professor of race, inclusion, and communication in soccer and the media at Erasmus University in Rotterdam, said explicit racism in stadiums is more accepted and normalized in some parts of Spanish and Southern European soccer culture compared to places like England and the Netherlands, where the media, former players, and soccer federations have openly addressed the issue. When, as a football association, you don't take a firm stance against it and you don't repeat that message time and time again, it will reappear. Van Sterkenberg said in a video call, you have to repeat the message that this isn't allowed, this isn't accepted. When nothing happens, you should still repeat this message. Some clubs have programs in place where they repeat the message even when nothing happens. It sets the norm continuously. Soccer needs outside help with racism and gets it through anti-discrimination campaigners such as Kick It Out in Britain and LICRA in France. The FAIR Network, a pan-European group set up to counter discrimination in soccer, places undercover observers in crowds at Europe's biggest games to detect racist chants and extremist symbols on banners, which is good. I actually like that. I actually like that. They need to do more of that. I think they should have police and monitors in the crowds because, unfortunately, the white supremacists act like children, so they need chaperones. We got to make sure that they behave while black men and other men are out on the field doing their job, and they don't deserve to be racially harassed while at your job. For anybody who's going to jump into the comments, because I always get this. I always get this in my comments, and y'all don't see them because their ass gets blocked. So they go to that block party. I know some white man, some latent white supremacist is going to jump into the comments and say, it's just slurs. It's just a game. We're just having fun. They're just drunk assholes. Would you accept me showing up to your job, drunk as hell, calling you all sorts of racial slurs? WAP, Guinea, I don't know, mayonnaise man, Yakubian, cave dweller, true monkey, Neanderthal, It's not cool. If I showed up yelling anti-white slurs, drunk as hell at your job, you would try to pack me out. And then you would see these hands and then you would know that you can't do shit to me. You would know that. You would know that. It's not cool for any black man to go and play football or anything and get called racial slurs. And so, yeah, they need monitors in them stadiums. They need to call them people out. So let's go here at the finale of this. As for the black players themselves, some, such as Vinícius and others like Samuel Eto'o, Mario Balotelli, and Romelu Lukaku, call out the abuse when they see it, intent on leading the fight against racism. That's something Paul Conoville, the target of racist insults as the first black player of English club Chelsea in the 1980s, wishes he had done. They should say something right there and then, Conoville said of black players. I didn't at that time, and I've had to learn from that. That's something I teach to up-and-coming players now. So, once again, thank you everybody for watching this live stream. This was a very interesting live stream. I usually don't cover sports on this channel, but I found this article very interesting. Once again, anti-black racism is not cool. No black man deserves to be insulted at his job, period. These black men like Vinícius are at their job. And just because you're drunk and you're at a football match, that does not give you the right to racially harass anybody. I do not condone racism against any group of people. Anti-black racism is explicitly wrong, and so is any form of discrimination against any other group of people. Nobody deserves that at their job. You want to have fun, watch the soccer match, root for your team, then shut the front door. Don't say anything else. Don't call black people monos or monkeys and that sort of stuff. Because number one, it's not tricking us out of our position. As far as I can tell, Vinícius is probably still playing for Real Madrid, still making millions of dollars, still going balls deep, still going very balls deep in every Spanish broad that's throwing it his way. So for the anti-black racists in Spain who really want to get pissed off, just know this: Vinícius is piping down some of the baddest, the finest, the whitest Spanish women right now. Vinícius is pulling the tracks out. He's grabbing the nape of their neck, putting that hair in a ponytail, and smacking the shit out of some Spanish posse just to get back at you racists. And yet and still y'all want to continue to call him monkey. Okay, you can continue to call him that. He's gonna continue to make millions of dollars and smash your mamas, your sisters, and basically all the fine ass Spanish frauds. You get what I'm saying? It's so stupid. The white supremacists are dumb. But I found this very engaging and entertaining. I hope FIFA and all the organizations continue to fight anti-black racism, and that we make a better world for everybody out here. So I got class in a few. So thanks for watching. Shout out to Craig Mack. Shout out to Ozzy. Yeah, shout out to everybody who came to rock with me. Sorry if the live streams have been acting weird. I'll be doing more. Peace.